So we're on Kuf Dalid Amid Beis, right after that story. We're still in the middle of going through Eicha, going through the Psukim in Eicha. So we're by Bacha Tivcha Balayla. Pasuk says in Eicha, Bacha Tivcha, they're going to cry by night. Shtei Bechiyas Halalu Lama. Why are there two separate Bechiyas? Amar Abba Amar B'Yechon, and Echad Al Mikdash Rishon, Echad Al Mikdash Sheni. One is for the first Mikdash, the one is for the second Mikdash. Balayla Al Iskei Laila. They're going to cry by night because of the Iskei Laila. Shenemar Batis Kol Eide Vayidnu Es Kano Yivchu Am Balaylahu. This is by the case story by the Meraglim. They came back with their Lashon Hara about Eretz Yisrael, and everyone started crying. They cried that night. So the Rebbe Shalom said, since you cried for no reason, I'm going to give you a reason to cry. It was Tisha B'Av, that night of the Meraglim was the night of Tisha B'Av. You cried for no reason. I'm going to be kaveya for you that you're going to cry every year on that night. It's going to become Tisha B'Av when the Beis HaMikdash is destroyed. Davar Acha Balayla, another pshat in Bachei Tivcha Balayla, Chashol HaBoicha Balayla Koilei Nishma. Whoever cries at night, their voice goes a long way. It's quiet at night, so you could hear them crying. Davar Acha Balayla, Chashol HaBoicha Balayla Koichav Mazolas Boicha Nimai. Whoever cries at night, the stars and the constellations cry with him. I'm not sure exactly what that means. I guess I would guess it means something like the mazalos cause, they in some sense cause the what the person's fortune is going to be, how he's going to be treated. So when you cry at night, that's what happens. You bring down your mazalos, you bring down your mazel. When someone hears someone crying at night, it's very catchy, it's contagious. And someone who hears them also starts crying. Ma'isa b'isha achas. There was a story with one woman, Shechenot Rabbi Gamliel, the neighbor of Rabbi Gamliel, Shemes b'na, her son died, and she was crying on him, Balayla at night. Shamar Rabbi Gamliel kailu bacha kenegda. Rabbi Gamliel heard her crying, and he also started crying. Until his eyelashes started falling out. The next morning he came to learn, and everyone saw he'd been up crying all night. They took her out. They said, you're ruining the shiurim because you're making our Rebbe cry at night. He's too tired and he's all downtrodden. He's depressed. So they told you got to move. Okay, it's 5 lines up in the narrow lines on Kuf Daled Amid Beis. V'dimasa alechia, her tears are on her cheeks. Amarav Amar B'Yechon, K'isha sheboicha al bal nu'ura, like a woman who's crying on her husband of her young years. Shenemar Eli k'psula chageresak, crying like a psula that's wearing sackcloth, al bal nu'ura, on her husband of her youth. Pasuk continues. We're still going through Psukim in Eicha. These familiar from the beginning of Eicha. Hayut Tzorel L'Rosh. Those who oppress the Yidden will be L'Rosh, will go to the head. Amar Rabba, Amar Yechon, Kol Ametza Yisrael. Whoever afflicts the Yidden, Nase Rosh. They become that causes them to rise in the world. Shnema Kiloi Moyev. And the explanation is it's better for the Yidden. No one wants to be oppressed by a lowly person. So at least the Yidden will have the distinction that they'll have significant enemies. They won't be just nobodies. Shenemar, kiloi moyef, there will be no weariness. Lashem moitzakla, to those who oppress her. Keisa rishon, hakal arza zvulun v'arza naftali. The first time, there were different stages of the expulsion of the Yidden from Eretz Yisrael. So first, they took away Eretz Zvulun and Eretz Naftali. Then they took away the area near the sea and the other side of the Yarden. Gul HaGoyim, they became the butt of the Goyim. I think that's what it means, that the Goyim did what they wanted with them. Amar Rav Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Kol hamatzak liyisrael eino oyef. He said, Darshan, this pasuk, it says, Kiloi moyev l'Hashem mutzak lo, that whoever oppresses the Yidden never gets tired. Loi aleichem kol oivrei derech. So the pasuk says, this is further in Eichel aleichem kol oivrei derech habitu ru'u im yesh makav k'makoivi. He says it shouldn't be like this for those who pass by. Look at those who, there's no one who has pains like our pains. Asher oily, Asher choiga Hashem b'yom charanah. Hashem turns to me when He's angry. So what does this mean? Le'alechem kol evrei derech amar Rav Amar Rabbi Yochanan mikan l'kol b'nam min ha'Torah. Kuvlanam min ha'Torah. From here we see it said le'alechem kol evrei derech. You shouldn't have to suffer like this. This is what the Navi is saying. He's saying that we see from here that it's when you say something, you shouldn't just say the bad thing. You should couch it in a phrase that shouldn't come to you. Couch it in the negative. We don't talk about bad things directly. This is kuvlan, means this method of saying something indirectly. Kol oivrei derech, amar Rav, asuni ka'oivrei al das. They made me, the original is saying that the Yushalayim made themselves like those who don't follow the Rabbeinu Shalom. Hashem himtir al stoim. It says by stoim that Hashem rained down on stoim gavras from Melach. They found a fire and sulfur. Ilu b'Yushalayim ksiv b'maram shalch eish ba'atzmusa v'yoradna. From on high, they sent fire into the midst of us, and it destroyed us. So you see that just like Sdoim was punished with fire raining down, the same thing happened to Yushalayim. In truth, the pasuk says that the Averis, the Averis of Yushalayim were greater than those of Sdoim. So the Gemara asks, if that's the case, how is it that Sdoim was totally destroyed, that there's nothing left of it, and Yushalayim still exists, if their Avainis were greater? Yushalayim had a certain credit to it, which was not found by Sdoim. That this is the Avera of Sdoim, the sin of Sdoim. Sister was arrogant, savata lechem, full of bread, yad ani be'evyan lo yichzika, and they didn't provide for the poor people. They had a lot for themselves. They didn't give. Yishayim ksiv yidei nashim rachmani yisbashul yeldeim, that the women who were rachmanias, they were soft-hearted. Nebuch were so hungry that they had to use their children as food. They were called Nashim Rachmanias because they shared it with their neighbor. So even in the midst of their terrible tsar, at least they did it in a way of helping one another. So that was the difference in them and Sdoim, where there was no Bein Adam L'chaver. Sala kol aviri Hashem bekibi. Rashi says Sala is a lashon of mesila, of wiping out a path. So all the lords of Hashem, all the higher ups of Hashem, will be wiped out. Like someone who says about a coin that it's been rubbed out. So the Hashem will rub out the great ones in the city. Patzu alecha piem. He opened up their mouths to them. Amar Rav Amar Rabbi Yochanan b'Shoma hiktim pei la'ayin. The psukim and Eicha go in alphabetical order. It goes Aleph, Beis, Gimel. Each pasuk Eicha is Aleph. Eicha Yeshua B'dad Hirasiyah Haisakalmanah Ravasiyah. I don't remember what the second pasuk is, but Bachei Tivcha Balayla is the second pasuk, right? So that's Aleph, Beis. But then when it comes to Ayin and Pei, the Pei goes before the Ayin. It's supposed to be the other way around. Bishvil Meraglim. It's a reminder of the Meraglim that they put their mouth before their eyes, the ayin. That they said something that they didn't see. They claimed, they said Lashon Hara about Eretz Yisrael. Oichli ami, oichle lechem, Hashem le'karo. Those who eat my nation, they eat bread, and they don't call to Hashem. Amar Rabba Amar Rabbi Yechon, kol oichem milachman sheYisrael toim tam lechem. She'enochem milachman sheYisrael ene toim tam lechem. Those who defeat the Yidden and they eat up our bread, they get a special. The Rashi says the Kutim have a special hanad when they steal from Yidden. Hashem loy karo, Rav Amar Elu hadayon. They didn't call to Hashem. That Rav says that refers to the dayan, the corrupt judges. That instead of giving a dynamis, they were corrupt, and that was one of the things that brought about the destruction of Yerushalayim. Ushmul Amar Elu Malamdi Tinaikas. That's the Malamdi Tinaikas that they didn't do their job. Rashi says that they did a false job. They didn't teach the Tinaikas, and that was also what caused the Korban. Mi manon. Very interesting question. The Gemara asks. We had this all coming from the Mishnah. The Mishnah said there were 3 kings and 4 Hadyatis who lost their chelik in Olam Haba. So we ask who counted them. Now, who determined who they were? Now, you think this is the Rebbeinu Shalom would have, it wasn't the determination down here, it's the Rebbeinu Shalom's decision of who loses their chelik in Olam Haba. It sounds almost like it was a decree from as we're going to see from the Anshe Knesset Agdayla. Amar Rav Ashi, Anshe Knesset Agdayla Monim. The Anshe Knesset Agdayla were the ones who counted who lost their chelik in Olam Haba. I guess this is part of a tzaddik guys of HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mekayim. Amar Yud Amar Rav, Bikshu Oid Limnes Echad. They want to add another one. The Gemara is so reluctant even to say who it was. Rashi says it's talking about Shlomo HaMelech. Shlomo HaMelech we saw before. When he got older, he had a lot of wives who were Oived Avodah Zarah, and he didn't do enough to stop them. So the Anshe Knesset Agdayla wanted to add Shlomo HaMelech to the list. The appearance of I think his father. So David Ovid, came and he bowed in front of them, saying he begged them not to add Shlomo to the list. They wouldn't listen to David HaMelech. The Rebbeinu sent down a fire to start singeing their seats that they were sitting on. They didn't listen to the Eish. I see a man who did his job well. He, in front of kings, he stood up. He doesn't have to stand in front of the dark ones. Well, what does that mean? What the Russian was saying was, Shlomo HaMelech, who built the Beis HaMikdash, my house, before he built his own house, his own palace, he expedited the construction of the Beis HaMikdash. He did it in 7 years. It took him 13 years to build his own palace. He has to only deal with kings. He doesn't have to sit in front of the dark ones. I guess it was saying that he doesn't have to go to Gehenna to be sitting amongst the ones who are exiled there. And still, the Anshe Knesset Agdayla would not listen to it. They wanted to still put him among those who don't have a chelik in Olam Haba. Yeah, it's interesting that it says that the people who don't get a chelik in Olam Haba go to Gehenna. I thought that we were talking about is that, the Ein chelik ever. There's many people who go to Gehenna. They go to Gehenna to be extirpated of their sins. But some people don't ever get to Olam Haba. I guess it means they'll sit in Gehenna La'olam. Those who don't have a Olam Haba, meaning there's no Tchias HaMeis from them, they stay indefinitely in Gehenna.
So they didn't hold that the share of the Hellas.
Yeah, it's
a big thing.
It's a you see, the Gemara didn't even want to say his name. It's such a strange position to take. I guess it sounds like the Malachim have a greater responsibility than everyone else. They have greater abilities, but also greater responsibilities. And he's responsible for what happens to the whole kingdom. Everything is totally in him. Yeah, I can't answer. It's a difficult theological question. How the Shlomo Melech is Shlomo Melech from the Tzadikei Olam. How could it be that they're considering him as possibly someone to lose his chelik in Olam Haba? Yotza Baskav Omar, Me Amcha Yishalmena Ki Ma'asta. Is it up to you to decide who gets the Einshim? That you decide you don't like it, you're disgusted with him? Are you going to decide and not me? The Rishon said in the end, it's not your decision, it's my decision, and I'm overruling you. And whatever you think is this is not part of your jurisdiction.
It's the first veto.
Yeah. Darshe Rishumais, Rashi says those are the Darshe Psukim, the people who Darshim Psukim, Hayu Aimim, Kulam Ban Lo'ilam Haba. They argue on this Mishnah that said that there are 3 kings and 4 Hajyatis that don't get Olam Haba. They said, no, they all get Olam Haba. Everyone gets, they're all included. Shenema, Li Gilad, Vali Menashe, to me, the Rosh says, to me is Gilad and to me is Menashe. The Ephraim, Moiz Roshi, Ephraim, the strength of my head. Yehuda, Chaykiki, Yehuda, the one who gives the laws. Moav Siratzchi, Moav by is the who washes. Al Edom Ashlach Nali. I'm going to send my Rashi Taishes Nali. I'm going to send my locks to Edom. Alai Peleshes Israeli, and the Pelishtim are going to be friends. Gemara Darshan this whole pasuk. Li Gilad. What is Li Gilad? Zeh Achav Shenafal Baramis Gilad. That's a reference to Achav. Achav was the first one of the kings that we said in the Mishnah lost his chelik in Olam Haba. The Mishnah Li Gilad, Achav is also going to come to me in the end. He's going to go to Olam Haba. Menashe Kemashmai. It says Li Menashe. Menashe is referring to Melech Menashe. Ephraim Oizroishi. Zeh Yeravam. That's a reference to the third king of Yeravam, the Yeravam ben Nevat, the Qasim Ephraim. He was a descendant of Ephraim. Yehuda Mechaykiki. Yehuda is the lawgiver. Zeh Achitophel, the Qasim Yehuda. That's Achitophel that came from Yehuda. Moav Siratzchi, Moav who washes. Zeh Gechazi Shalok Al Iskei Ruchitza. There's a reference to Gechazi, who was the second of the Hedjaitis, who the Gemara's with darshaning that he also did not lose his chelik in Olam Haba. He was punished because of washing that he was Gechazi. Forgot what the story is. Yeah, but anyway, that was his punishment came about because of an incident with washing. Al Edom Ashlich Nali Zed Dayeg HaAdoimi. That's Dayeg HaAdoimi. Edom is a Dayeg. He's from Edom. Alei Peleshes Israeli Amr Malachi Ashar Zilnei Hagash Baruch Hu Rabbeinu Shalom Yavei David Shahargas Aplishti Varish Benecha Gas Mata Isolai. If you can allow Dayeg and Achitophel, who both betrayed David, to go into Olam Haba, David's going to meet up with them. He's going to be very upset. David killed the Plishtim and he sent them away from Gas. He was Garish Das. He's going to have to deal now with Achitophel and Dayeg. That's what it says in the pasuk. His Peleshes Hisroi. I'm going to make peace with the one who killed the Plishtim, which is David. Madua Shayv Am Hazeh. Why is it that the Klal Yisrael is always coming back with answers? Amarav Tshuva Netzeches Eshiva Knesset Yisrael Lenavi. The constantly the Yidden were always trying to answer back to the Navi. Amal had Navi Yisrael Chazur b'Tshuva. You have to do Tshuva. What happened to all your ancestors who did Averis? They all got destroyed. So you do Tshuva, so you don't have the same fate. He said, when everyone dies, The Nevi'im who didn't do Chetayim, they're also gone. So what's the use? Why should we bother doing Tshuva?
Typical Jew.
Right. That's what the Gemara is saying, exactly. The Gemara is talking about how Jews always argue. This is they never give in. They always have to have the last word. Where are your fathers and where are the Nevi'im? Are they going to live forever? Amalahen. What is this pasuk? Nevi'im chazru v'haidu. He said that, but the Nevi'im they did do tshuva. Shnema ach divrei v'chayki ashtivisi es avdi hanevi'im. They said you should still be to do tshuva. This is what I commanded the Nevi'im that you should do so. Zok the Gemara. Shmuel Amar. Shmuel has a different source for this obstreperousness of the stubbornness of the Yidden. Bo asara b'nei Adam v'yashul lefanav. 10 men came and stood in front of him. Amalei chazru b'tshuva. The Navi said you should be chazru in tshuva. Amalei evet shemachar rabba v'yishagir shebayla klum yesh lezel zeh. Klum. If a man divorces his wife or a master sells his slave, does he have any rights to tell him what to do? You're telling us to do tshuva. The Baruch Shalom has already abandoned us. He sent us into Galus. Why are you telling us to do tshuva? He separated himself from us. Go tell them. Did I give you a get that you're saying that you're separated from us like a wife that was divorced? Or do you have a sefer krisis, a star mechira that you were sold? It was just that you're being punished for your averis, but I didn't separate myself from you. I'm sending you away because you're avoinus and you're pishoyim. David Avdi, Nebuchadnezzar Avdi. The pasuk refers to David as Hashem. There is the Rebbeinu Shalom's Eved, and also refers to Nebuchadnezzar the same way. They knew that the Rebbeinu Shalom knew that the Yidden were going to make this taina, that we're no longer under your jurisdiction. We've been taken by Nebuchadnezzar, and now we're part of Nebuchadnezzar's nation. That's why the Rebbeinu Shalom called Nebuchadnezzar his slave. Eved shekana chasem Eved lami, Eved who acquires something. Who does the Eved belong to? Nechasim lami, and who does his possessions belong to? You're saying you're a possession of Nebuchadnezzar, but Nebuchadnezzar is my Eved, so you're still under my. The Rebbeinu Shalom said you're still under my jurisdiction. That which you have contemplated will never be. That you said you're going to be like the other nations, like the other mishpachas of the world, to serve wood and stone. This is what I say. I'm going to king myself over you with a strong hand and with a great anger. Amar of Nachman, Kalki Hayrischa Lirtach Rachmana Alan Uleproiknin Lepurkina. Nachman said, even though the Baruch Shalom says he's going to use a great anger, he's going to give us a lot of Yisurim, and that's going to cause us to do tshuva. I had the machlekes before about whether they'll be do tshuva without the Yisurim or with. I think Rav Nachman, maybe it was the Mandam who says with the Yisurim. He said, Rav Nachman said, bring on the Yisurim because we need to be saved from the Galus. The Galus is so bad that we need even the Rebbeinu Shalom's anger to get us out of it. What does that mean? Yeah. But Yisrael Mishpat, he turned to Mishpat, Alikav Yerainu, the Rebbeinu Shalom is going to punish Amar Abachana, Amar Malhen, Navi Yisrael, Chazur b'tshuva, do tshuva, Amalai, Einu Yechaylam, Yetzahara Shailut Banu. He said, well, we're not able to. But the Yetzer Hara doesn't let us do tshuva. Amalhem Yisru Yitzrechem. He said, so they said to him, you have to get rid of the Yetzer Hara. Amaloi Kav Yorainu. The Rabbeinu Shalom should help us. The Rabbeinu Shalom should send away the Yetzer Hara. He asked for the Rabbeinu Shalom's help to take off the oil of the Yetzer Hara to allow them to do tshuva. So the Mishnah said, Arba had yotis bilam v'doig v'achitoifel v'geichazi. So we're going to have a long discussion of Bilam. Bilam, Beloy Am. The reason why he was called Bilam is because he had no nation. He was a free agent. Davar Achar, Bilam, Shebala Am. That either he swallowed the nation or he cursed the nation. Or Shebala Am, I think Rashi says, Shebilbal Yisrael, Batsasai. He gave them the Eitzah that he should get the women to come, cause them to be Mizana, so he confused the Bnei Yisrael. The other part of his name is called Bilam ben Ba'ar. Ben Ba'ar Shabal Ba'ir. He was ba on an animal. An animal is a kind of donkey, a ba'ir. Tana hu Ba'ar, hu Kushan, hu, it's the same thing, this Bilam ben Ba'ar, hu Kushan Rishayim, that's the same person as Kushan Rishayim in Shaiftim. He was another Rasha. Who Lavan Harami? Bilam ben Ba'ar was also Lavan Harami, the original Lavan. Yeah, Rivka's brother. All of them, it says, Aram Narayim. It says about all of them, they're from Aram Narayim. So this Gemara is saying they were all the same person. Ba'ar, and why was he called Ba'ar Shabal Ba'ar? Like we said before, he was born on this animal. Kushan Rishayim, David Shtei Rishuyas B'Yisrael. He did two times, he did Risha to the Yidden. Achas b'mei Yaakov, one when Lavan Harami deceived Yaakov. He tried to take away Yaakov's. He tried to take away Rachel and Leah, and he tried to steal. Came after him with his sons. This Kushan Rishayim was later on in the times of the Shaiftim. Umash Shmai, what was his real name? Lavan Harami Shmai. His real name was the original name of Lavan. So Bilam was just the name because of these reasons. Shebalaam, Shebelayam. That was just a nickname. Ksiv ben Ba'ar, or Ksiv b'noi Ba'ar. One time it says he was the son of Ba'ar, and another time it says he had a son Ba'ar. Amrav Yechon Aviv b'noi Huloi b'Nevias. It was really his father, but his father was like his son when it came to Nevi'as. Bilam was a greater Navi than his father Bar. Bilam hudale asi la'amad asi. The Gemara says Bilam lost his chelik in Olam Haba. The Mashmai says a shargai machrini asu. That sounds like if we're saying now that Bilam lost his chelik in Olam Haba, it means other goyim do have a chelik in Olam Haba. Masis and money, Rabbi Yeshua. This is like Rabbi Yeshua. The Tanya Balaza, I'm a Yeshuva Rishayim L'Shayla. Kol Goyim Sheikh Elikim Yeshuvu Rishayim L'Shayla. Yeshuvu. The Rishayim should go back to their graves. All the Goyim that forget Hashem, they're going to have this. But the Kol Goyim Sheikh Elikim. The Rishayim, we say by the Yidden, they go l'sha'il. They go down to Sha'il, to Gehenna. But Kol Goyim Sheikh Elikim. I think they take out. All Goyim are going to get the same thing. They're all Sheikh Elikim. Yeshuv Rishayim l'Shayla Elu Peichi Yisrael. That's with reference to Yidden. The Yidden who do Averis. But Kol Goyim Sheikh Elikim Elu. They take out the words. They Peichi Avdei Kechavim. It says Elu Avdei Kechavim. It was put in by the censors. They didn't want it to say that all Goyim don't have a chelik in Olam Haba, so they changed it to Peichi Avdei Kechavim, which then it takes away the whole meaning of the Gemara. It means to say all Goyim go to Gehenna. They don't have a chance to Olam Haba. Divrei Balaza Amle B'Yeshua B'Chinama B'Chol Goyim. Does it say that all Goyim get the B'Chinama Ela Kol Goyim Sheikh Elihim Sheikh Elikim Elu Yesh Mean Loy Nama Ela Kol Goyim Sheikh Elikim Ela Yeshuva Rishayim L'Shayla You have to understand the pasuk that it's all one thing. The Rishayim will go back to Gehenim and get it burnt out of them. It means all those who forget Hashem, they're going to have to go to Shail. But it's just an explanation. It's still talking about the Yidden. But the Goyim, Einachanami, there's no reference, there's no meaning, there's no intention for the pasuk to say that all Goyim don't have a chelik in Elam Haba. And therefore, our mission, what we're saying over here, that Bilam doesn't have a chelik in Elam Haba, makes sense. Because other Goyim are capable of having it. If all Goyim don't have it, so that's why the Gemara says it's like Rabbi Yeshua, who says that the pasuk doesn't mean to say all Goyim don't have a chelik in Elam Haba. Ba'af oisei rosh anosan siman ba'atzmai. Bilam gave a simon on himself. Amar Thomas nafshi mois yishar. He says, if I die a mois yishar, a regular peaceful death, that will be in Thomas nafshi mois yishar te'ach risi kamayu. If I have a peaceful death, then I'm going to have akras hayamim. I'm going to have a asid lava, a tchias hamesim. B'imlav hina helach la'ami. If not, I'm going to go like everyone else. I'm going to end up. I'm going to go back and not have a Elam Haba. And that's the end. What happened? He ended up dying by his own sword. There's still going on further in the story of Bilam. That says that the Skenim and Mayav and the Ziknei Midyan went to Bilam to try to enlist his help in cursing the Yidden. Tana Midyan Umayav Hayalham Shalom Eilam. They were constantly at war. So why do they join together to go to Bilam? Two dogs that were in a pack. They would always fight. But a wolf came to attack one of them. The dog said, if we don't get together to fight the wolf, he's going to kill one, and the next day he's going to come kill me. If they joined together to kill the wolf. A weasel and a cat of the Hilula, they make a party, to trap their prey, to catch something that they can't bring down by themselves. They join together to defeat it in order to have what to eat. So what does it say? Politics make strange bedfellows. That's the English phrase. V'yeshu Shevi, Mayav and Bilam. Mayav and Bilam. The heads of Mayav sat down and Bilam. But sorry Midyan lahechanazal, but doesn't say anything about the sorry Midyan. Where did they go? When they made the request to Bilam, he said, "Let me sleep on it overnight." They said, "Amru klum yesh av soines benoi." They said, once you're going to think about it, he says, I'm going to go ask the Rebbeinu Shalom. He said, once you ask the Rebbeinu Shalom, it's all over. The Rebbeinu Shalom is not going to let you curse the Yid. And he's the father, he's their father. He's not going to do it to them. So we're wasting our time. Amr of Nachman, chutzpah afilu klape shmaya mahani. The Gemara says, you see from Bilam that Bilam persisted in making a request from the Rebbeinu Shalom. You can persist, and sometimes if you keep asking, sometimes the Rebbeinu Shalom will give what you ask. At first, Bilam was told, don't go together with them, with the Sarei Mayav and the Sarei Midyan. At the end, the Rebbeinu gave him permission to go. Chutzpah is a king without a crown. It has a certain force, even though it's not official. David said that shortly after he was coronated, he said, I'm still recently made king. When they were trying to get him to fight, he said, I can't beat them. If they oppose me, they'll win. So it's just to show you, sometimes even against the melech, you can win. Sometimes chutzpah, if you stand up to the melech, you could win, even without the crown. Amrav Yechanan, Bilam chiga b'raglei achasaya. Bilam was lame in one leg. Shenema vayelech shefi. He went limping. Shimshon b'shtei raglav. Shimshon was lame in both legs. Shenema shvifin alei oirech. Says about Dun, who was Shimshon was from the Shevet of Dun. It says about done in the brachas, slithering on the path, and he bites the heels of the horse. So slithering on the path because Shimshon, it's a reference to Shimshon who couldn't walk. Bilam was blind in one eye. Shenemar shtum ayim. He looks out from one eye. He looks from one eye because he can't see in the other. Kaisem ba'masay haya. He would do some kind of sorcery with his aver. He used the notion of fila, he was fallen and open eyes. He uses about Haman, that he was neifel al amita, and then he was accused of being sheichev with Esther. So you see that it was a reference to his aver. He says it doesn't mean that he was not that he did the sorcery, but it means that he was born on his donkey. Like we just said, he bent down and he was shachav and he laid. It says, where is that pasuk? In Shoftim. It's speaking about Yisra. By Sisra and Yael, it says that she kara nafal shachav. She was nafal v'shechav, that she was born him. Yael was born Sisra the same way Bilam was born as Asayne, because he also used lashon afila, means that he was born. But Yedea das Elyon, pasuk says about Bilam that he knew the ways of Hashem. He knew the Baruch what was thinking. Hashter das behemtele have Yedea das Elyon have Yedea. Can you say he really knew the Baruch's thoughts? He didn't even know what his own behemoth was thinking. The Amile, my time Susa. The Moav asked him, why aren't you riding on a horse? Why are you riding on a donkey? Amalhu Shadaihu Berativa. My horse is busy grazing somewhere. And the donkey started talking. He said, but I'm your asan. You always ride on me. He's contradicting him, his arguments with he's trying to make himself sound big, and the donkey was contradicting him. So he said, Latina Ba'alma. Bilam started saying, no, this donkey, I use him to carry things. So the donkey said, Asher rachavta olai, but you ride on me. So Bilam said, Ekroi Ba'alma, no, only on occasion. So the donkey said, no, it's from a long time till today, you always ride on me. You're trying to make yourself like a big guy, that you're on a horse, you're always on the donkey. And not only that, not only do you ride on me, you also bow on me. Do you, I think that means you ride on me. And it says, it says by David, when they got him someone to keep him warm at night, it also used the lotion of sachin to warm her up. So it's a lotion bia. Elamai. So that's the case. How Taka was Bilam able to assert that he knew the Das Elyon? He knew when the Baruch gets angry. Yisrael Ami. Remember what the eights of Bilak Melech Moav. Bilam ben Bar, and what Bilam answered. Min Hashitim, Bar Gilgal. From Shittim till Gilgal, Man das Sitkas Hashem. Maila Man das Sitkas Hashem. What does it mean to know the tzedakah of Hashem? What was the tzedakah? Amalek Hashbach Yisrael. Do unna kamet Sitkas Asisi Mecham. Think about the great tzedakah that I did to you. Shaloi Kaasti Kalois and Ayam Bimei Bilam Harasha. That I never allowed myself to get angry during the times of Bilam. Shalmali Kaasti Kalois and Ayamim. Bilam kept on trying to curse the Yidden. And the Beis Shalom, if he ever allowed himself to get angry, he would have assented. He would have allowed Bilam to curse them. But I didn't let myself get angry. Had I let myself get angry, then Taka, all the Yidden would have been destroyed. How did the Kamalei Bilam Labalak? What can I curse that the Beis Shalom has accursed? Kel Zayim B'chol Yom. The Beis Shalom gets angry every day. Bekama Zamay Rega. How long to get angry for a second? Shnema Ki Rega Be'apin Chayim B'Tzaynek. Iba Yisayma Another source that he only used for a second, Lech ami ba b'chaderecha, go into your room of the sagad al secha, close the doors, ba'adcha behind you, chabi k'ma'at rega. Hide yourself for a second, ad yaver zam, until the anger passes. So you see, the anger is only a second. Amos rasach, when does he get angry? B'tlas shoy kamaisa, the first 3 hours of a day. Ki chavara the karbel etanagoyla, at the time of the when the comb of the rooster gets white. Kol shaitz v'saitz nami chavra. The comb of the rooster is always right. No, kol shaitz v'saitz is suruki sumki. There's always a little bit red in it. He shaitz less suruki sumki. There's no redness in it. How mean to have a b'shivusa the Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi to have a komitzar leyuma, have a komitzar that used to bother Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Yuma chad nakatan negos of also lebekare ba'osav amar kimata hu shaitz el tayeh. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi took this rooster and he was waiting for the time when its comb gets white. He said, at that time, I'm going to curse this min. When the time came, he fell asleep and he missed the minute. It's better not to curse. It's also not good for a tzaddik to be ma'anish. Even by a min, it's better not to curse him. The Rosh Hashanah arranged that he shouldn't curse him. Okay.
So why does Hashem have to get angry? Like
What does this mean? Rosh Hashanah, he's not right. It's as if there's some some outside force that the Rosh Hashanah is. There's always what is it called? Anthropomorphizing the Rebbeinu Shalom. That means we give human characteristics to the Rebbeinu Shalom to make it more understandable to ourselves. It's not because the Rebbeinu Shalom is limited in any way. Our understanding is limited. So often when the Gemara will give the Rebbeinu Shalom some like human trait, it's just so we should understand that the Rebbeinu Shalom is merachim. This is a way of saying the Rebbeinu Shalom really. We deserve, al pi midas hadin, we deserve to be punished more severely. But the Rebbeinu Shalom arranges things that it shouldn't happen.